The three Vexari hunters moved through the dense purple forest, their forms blending with the shadows of the twin moons overhead. Kira, the lead scout, raised her hand, signaling the others to stop. Her sensitive antennae quivered, detecting an unusual scent in the night air. "Something different is here," whispered Kira, her violet eyes narrowing. "Not one of our kind." Laura, the weapons specialist, gripped her pulse rifle tighter. The council said a small human vessel crashed in this region 3 cycles. Haga, we assumed no survivors. The third hunter. Maya consulted the biotracker on her wrist. The signal is strong but strange. Not typical human readings. The Vexari had limited contact with humans. Their species had observed the bipedal creatures from afar, studying their technology and warfare capabilities. The council determined them to be dangerous, unpredictable, and best avoided. But when the human scout ship crashed on their protected wildlife preserve, the hunters were dispatched to investigate and eliminate any threat to the sacred Kuzari cubs that were raised there. Ahead, a soft glow emanated from what appeared to be a small cave. Kira motioned for the others to spread out as they crept forward. Weapons ready, their armor light as air, but stronger than steel, glinted in the moonlight. What they witnessed at the cave entrance froze them in place. Inside, a human female sat with her back against the cave wall, her skin pale in the light of a small emergency lamp. Her dark hair pulled back from her face. She wore a tattered uniform with a patch that read, "Armstrong Space Academy." Most shocking were the 6 Kuzari cubs sleeping around her. 2 cubs lay curled against her legs, while another 3 snuggled together nearby on what appeared to be the human's torn jacket. The smallest cub lay cradled in her arms as she gently stroked its spotted fur. The human looked up suddenly, her eyes meeting Kira's. Her expression showed no fear, only weary recognition. "I was wondering when someone would come," she said softly, careful not to disturb the sleeping cubs. Her voice sounded hoarse, as if unused for speaking. "I tried keeping my distance, but they kept following me." Kira raised her weapon instinctively, but Maya placed a restraining hand on her arm. "Wait," she whispered. "Something is not right here." The smallest cub stirred in the human's arms, letting out a tiny whimper. The human immediately resumed her gentle stroking and hummed a soft melody. The cub settled back to sleep. Laura stepped forward, her weapon lowered but ready. "These are sacred cubs. Why are they with you?" "Human. My name is Kate," responded the human. "I crashed here 3 months ago. I was trying to find water when I stumbled upon them." She nodded toward the back of the cave. "Their mother was dead. Looked like some kind of large predator got her. I couldn't just leave them." The hunters exchanged glances. Their species revered the Kuzari as sacred animals. The cubs were always protected and cared for by the entire community. When orphaned, for a human, an alien, to take on this role was unthinkable. They would have died without care. Kate continued. "They were so small then." She smiled down at the cub in her arms. "This little one was the weakest I didn't think she would make." Akira studied the human. Carefully, Kuzari cubs were notoriously untrusting of other species. Their mothers taught them to fear anything not Kuzari. Yet these cubs were completely relaxed with the human. "How did you feed them?" asked Maya, her scientific curiosity overriding protocol. Kate gestured toward several containers near the cave wall. "I had emergency rations. I analyzed the berries and plants nearby, found ones with similar nutrients to what they needed." She smiled wryly. "Took some trial and error. My rations ran out weeks ago. Now I eat what they eat." Laura narrowed her eyes. "You expect us to believe you sacrificed your own food for Kuzari cubs in response?" Kate carefully shifted the sleeping cub in her arms, turning slightly to reveal her side where her uniform had been torn away. A long, partially healed gash ran along her ribs. 2 weeks ago, something tried to get them while I was gathering food." Kate explained. Her voice held no self-pity. "It wasn't a fair fight, but we managed." For the first time, the hunters noticed other signs in the dim light. A crude spear leaned against the wall nearby. Several stones had been fashioned into cutting tools. The human was resourceful. Maya approached cautiously, kneeling to examine the cubs. Even, To her trained eye, they appeared healthy. Their fur was glossy, their breathing steady. Not even our most experienced caretakers have such success with orphaned cubs, she admitted, because they're not alone. Kate said simply, "Every night I tell them stories about the stars, give them names, teach them things." She glanced at the hunters. "I've been hoping someone would come, though. My transmitter was damaged in the crash." Kira finally lowered her weapon completely. "Why would a human care for alien creatures? Our intelligence suggests your kind prioritizes self-preservation above all." Kate laughed softly, a sound that made the cubs twitch in their sleep. "That's a bit simplified, isn't it?" she said. "We're explorers, scientists, we're curious, we're compassionate, too, at least some of us try to be." She looked down at the smallest cub. "I'm a xenobiologist. My job is to understand life, not destroy it." The hunters watched as Kate continued to stroke the sleeping cub. The scene contradicted everything they had been taught about humans. The council described them as aggressive colonizers, yet here was one who had clearly sacrificed her own comfort and safety for creatures not of her world. "They need to return to our sanctuary," said Laura, though her tone had softened. "They require specialized care as they grow." Kate nodded. "They need their own kind, I always knew that." She swallowed hard. "I just wanted to keep them alive until then." Maya studied the human with new interest. "Perhaps you could assist with their transition. Our caretakers would benefit from your observations. These cubs clearly trust you." Kate looked up, surprise evident on her face. "I thought you were here to, well." She gestured at their weapons. Kira, the leader, made a decision that would later be recorded. "In Vexari history, we came to assess a threat," she said, returning her weapon to its holster. "I see no threat here." The journey to the Vexari settlement took most of the day. Kate walked beside Kira while Laura and Maya flanked them protectively. The smallest cub refused to leave Kate's arms, while the other 5 bounded around them, occasionally racing ahead, then, returning as if to ensure she was still following. Kate marveled at the alien landscape. The forest canopy glowed with bioluminescent fungi while strange insect-like creatures fluttered between massive ferns. The air carried sweet scents she had no words for, reminding her how far from home she truly was. Kira noticed the humans' frequent pauses to examine plants and creatures. "Your kind is curious," she observed. "It's how we learn." Kate replied, shifting the sleeping cub in her arms. "Everything here is new to me. I'm the first human to see this world up close." She smiled softly. "It's beautiful. You speak as if you admire our planet, yet humans are known for exploiting new worlds," said Laura, her tone guarded. Kate shook her head. "Those are colonists. A scientist, I observe, document, understand." She gestured to the surrounding forest. "We have worlds like this in protected status. No development allowed." Ever Maya, who had been quietly observing, stepped closer. "You truly care about preservation." "I dedicated my life to it," Kate said simply. As they approached the settlement, the forest thinned, revealing a collection of elegant structures that seemed to grow from the landscape, rather than impose upon it. Spires of living crystal stretched skyward, while pools of luminescent water connected the buildings in an intricate network. Kate gasped at the sight. "It's like your architecture and nature are one." "They are," Kira confirmed proudly. "Our dwellings grow from the land and return to it when no longer needed. Nothing is wasted, nothing destroyed." A small crowd of Vexari had gathered at the settlement edge, word of the human arrival spreading quickly. Their tall, slender forms and shimmering skin made them appear almost ethereal to Kate's eyes. Some clutched weapons while others simply stared in astonishment, particularly at the cubs that treated the human with such familiarity. A path cleared as an elder Vexari approached. Her antennae were longer, her skin bearing elaborate markings that signified wisdom and authority among their kind. "This is Elder Vela," explained Maya. "She leads our council." Kate inclined her head respectfully while keeping the sleeping cub secure in her arms. Vela studied Kate with ancient eyes. "What is this I see? A human caring for sacred cubs. This contradicts everything we know of your species." The cubs found her. Elder Kira explained, stepping forward. We discovered her in a cave. Their mother was killed, but this human has kept them alive for 3 cycles. She has injuries from protecting them. Vela extended a long finger toward the smallest cub. May I? Kate hesitantly transferred the cub to the elder's arms. The small creature stirred, opened golden eyes, looked back at Kate, then curiously examined Vela before settling in her. Arms remarkable, whispered Vela. Kuzari cubs bond only with their mothers or trained caretakers of our kind. This one trusts you both. She returned her gaze to Kate. You will tell us your story. Human Kate was brought to a circular chamber where the full council awaited 7 elders, including Vela, sat in carved chairs of living wood. The 3 hunters stood beside Kate as she recounted her experience from the crash landing to finding the orphaned cubs to their daily survival. The council listened, intently asking occasional questions. When Kate described analyzing local plants to create suitable nutrition for the cubs, their interest piqued. You determined compatible food sources, without our knowledge? Asked. One elder, in disbelief. Kate nodded. I had scientific equipment in my crash pack: spectrometers, analyzers. I compared the cubs' digestive enzymes to plant compounds, found matches. For weeks, I ate nothing to ensure they had enough. The council murmured among themselves. Finally, Vela spoke. Our records of humans describe conquerors who take without concern for other life. Your actions contradict this. Kate sighed softly. Humans are diverse like any species. Some seek power, others knowledge. Some destroy, others protect. I chose to study life to ensure its continuation. Another elder leaned forward. The cubs could have provided your own sustenance, yet you hunted for them, starved for them. Why? Kate looked shocked at the suggestion. They were orphaned babies. What kind of monster would I be to harm them? She shook her head. I never considered it. Not once. The smallest cub had wandered back to Kate during the questioning and now climbed into her lap. The other cubs had been taken to the sanctuary for examination, but this one had escaped its caretakers twice to find the human. Vela watched this interaction thoughtfully. The bond is strong, she observed. Perhaps there is wisdom we can gain from you. Human Kate stroked the cub's spotted fur. Please call me Kate. The council deliberated. In their own language, while Kate waited, the cub snuggled against her, dozing peacefully. Finally, Vela addressed her again. Kate of Earth, you present us with an opportunity. We have much to learn about your kind, as you surely wish to learn of us. The cubs respond to you in ways unprecedented. We propose you remain at our sanctuary, sharing your knowledge while we arrange communication with your people. Kate felt relief wash over her. I would be honored. But will your people accept me? Kira stepped forward. Some will resist, but they cannot deny what we have witnessed. Maya nodded. I will sponsor her at the sanctuary. My authority as lead biologist should ease concerns. Elder Vela stood ending the council session. It is decided Kate of Earth will remain under the protection of Hunter Kira and biologist Maya. She will assist with the sacred cubs until contact with humans is established. Kate was led to a small dwelling near the sanctuary, a simple structure with walls that seemed alive, pulsing gently with soft light. Maya explained the basics of Vexari life while Kira stood guard outside, clearly not fully trusting the settlement with their new human guest. That night, Kate sat on the edge of her new bed. The smallest cub curled beside her. Refusing to leave, the window showed unfamiliar stars and patterns she had never seen. Before sleep claimed her, she wondered if Earth believed her dead, if anyone searched for her. But as the cub snuggled closer, she realized that for now at least, she had found a purpose in this alien world, and perhaps even the beginnings of understanding between species. Days turned into weeks as Kate adapted to life among the Vexari. Each morning she worked in the sanctuary with Maya, studying the cub's growth patterns and behaviors. The smallest cub, now named Mira by Kate, remained her constant shadow, following her everywhere, permitted and sleeping beside her each night. Kate's presence caused initial tension in the settlement. Some Vexari kept their distance, their distrustful glares making their feelings clear. Others were curious, approaching with cautious questions about human ways. Maya served as cultural translator, explaining concepts that had no direct equivalent in either language. Kira visited often ostensibly to check on security, but Kate sensed the hunter had developed a genuine interest in her. The cubs, all six, thrived under their shared care, growing stronger each day. One morning, as Kate demonstrated how she had created nutritional supplements for the cubs using local plants, an alarm echoed through the settlement. Kira burst into the sanctuary, her weapon drawn. "We need to move now," she commanded. "All of you to the shelters." "What's happening?" asked Kate, gathering Mira in her arms. "Raiders," Kira replied grimly. "The Mrikai. They hunt Kuzari cubs for their life essence. Our sensors detect 3 ships approaching." The Vexari moved with practiced efficiency, Maya guiding Kate and the cubs toward an underground chamber. Other residents joined them, carrying supplies and weapons. Kate noticed even the children were trained for this scenario. Elder Vela appeared as they reached the shelter entrance. The Mrikai came sooner than expected. She said, her voice tight. "They must have detected unusual patterns in our security grid." Kate felt a chill. "What do they want?" "The cubs," Kira answered, checking her weapon. "Their species believes consuming Kuzari life force extends their lifespan. They raid our preserves every few cycles. Despite our defenses, they are ruthless efficient." Inside the shelter, Maya directed Kate to a secure room where other caretakers had gathered with younger animals. The 6 cubs huddled together, sensing the tension. Though growing, they were still vulnerable. Kate counted nearly 20 Vexari guards positioned throughout the underground complex. Kira consulted a holographic display, showing the approaching ships. "They will breach our perimeter in minutes. Standard tactics suggest they'll target the sanctuary first. Elder, we should move the cubs deeper." Vela nodded solemnly. "The inner chambers are prepared." Kate studied the display. "Something doesn't look right. The attack pattern is too direct, too obvious." She pointed to movement on the screen. "See how they're drawing attention to the north quadrant? But look here." Kira followed Kate's finger, seeing smaller signatures approaching. From the south, almost invisible against the forest heat signatures, they're creating a diversion. Kate explained, "I've seen this tactic before." Her mind raced back to her military training before she became a scientist. Small team infiltration while the main force distracts. Kira's eyes widened. "How could you know this?" Kate met her gaze firmly. "I wasn't always a scientist. I served in Earth Defense Forces before becoming a xenobiologist. Studied tactical operations." Vela regarded Kate with newfound interest. "What would you suggest?" Human Kate quickly assessed the sanctuary layout. "The raiders expect the cubs to be in the central chambers, right?" "The most protected area." Kira nodded. "That's protocol. Then we create our own diversion." Kate suggested we make them think their plan succeeded while keeping the cubs elsewhere. She looked at Maya. "How many entrances to the underground network?" 3 main, 2 emergency." Maya answered. Kate nodded decisively. "We split the cubs into groups. 2 decoys, 1 real. We stay mobile using your knowledge of the tunnel system." The elders exchanged glances. Then Vela nodded. "We will follow your strategy. Kate of Earth, Kira, you will lead Team 1, Maya Team 2. Kate, you will accompany me with the 3rd team, including Mira and 2 others." They moved quickly, dividing the cubs into 3 groups. Kate stayed close to Vela, carrying Mira, while 2 other caretakers managed the remaining cubs in their group. The tunnel system was extensive, more complex than Kate had imagined. Ancient pathways carved through living stone, illuminated by the same bioluminescent organisms she'd seen in the forest Velas. Knowledge of the tunnels was intimate, leading them through narrow passages that seemed to change direction randomly. They paused at a junction, listening to distant sounds of combat. "The diversion teams are engaging the raiders," Vela whispered. "They will lead them away from our position." Kate felt Mira trembling against her chest. The cub sensed danger. Her golden eyes wide with fear, Kate stroked her fur soothingly, whispering reassurances. A sudden explosion rocked the tunnel, dust and debris raining down. Vela stumbled, and Kate caught her with her free arm, supporting both the elder and Mira. They breached the eastern tunnels, Vela gasped. We must move faster. They pushed forward through increasingly narrow passages, the two other cubs whimpering softly as the caretakers hurried them along. Kate heard pursuit behind them, boots on stone, voices in an alien language. She didn't recognize a junction ahead offered 3 paths. Vela hesitated. They have forced us off our planned route. Kate made a quick decision. Give me your communicator. I have an idea. Vela handed over the device. Kate accessed the frequency she'd seen. Kira used earlier. Kira, this is Kate. We need extraction point 4. Bringing package directly. Diversion needed static. Then Kira's voice understood. Moving to intercept. Kate turned to Vela. I sent them the wrong location. The raiders will intercept that transmission and think we're headed to point 4. But we need to go another way. Vela nodded, impressed. Take the left tunnel. It leads to the sacred pools. An ancient place few remember. The tunnel opened into a breathtaking cavern. Pools of luminescent, blue water cast ghostly light on crystal formations. The air felt different here, charged with energy Kate could almost taste. The caretakers placed their cubs beside a pool where they drank eagerly. Mira stayed close to Kate, unwilling to leave her. Side, we will be safe here for now, Vela said. The crystals disrupt scanning technology. The raiders cannot detect us. Kate sat beside a pool. Mira curled in her lap. The sounds of fighting had faded, leaving only the gentle lapping of water against stone. How? Did you know their tactics? Asked Vela, settling beside her. Humans have fought many wars. Kate replied softly. We recognize patterns. I hoped the Murkai would think like raiders everywhere. Predictable in their unpredictability. Vela studied Kate thoughtfully. You are unlike any human. Our records describe. Kate smiled sadly. Perhaps your records need updating. As they waited in the sacred pools, Kate realized something important was happening. Something beyond one human caring for alien cubs. She was bridging worlds in ways neither species had anticipated, and somewhere above them a battle continued that would determine if this fragile beginning would survive. Hours passed in the sacred pools. Kate and the Vexari caretakers kept the cubs calm, whispering stories and songs. The luminous water cast rippling patterns across the crystal walls, creating a surprisingly peaceful atmosphere despite the danger.
Mira had finally fallen asleep in Kate's lap, while the other cubs dozed nearby. Vela maintained contact with the defense teams through a secure channel designed to avoid detection. The raiders had breached the main sanctuary but found it empty. Their
primary forces continued searching the tunnel network while scattered teams probed deeper into the settlement. Kate. We have a problem, Vela whispered. The raiders captured Maya Cates. Heart sank. Maya, her friend and strongest advocate among the scientific community. Is she alive? Yes. Vela confirmed. They are using her to access restricted areas. They seek information on the cub's location. Murkai have technologies that can extract thoughts from unwilling minds. It is only a matter of time. Kate gently transferred, sleeping Mira to a caretaker, and moved closer to Vela. Can we rescue her? Kira is attempting it, but the raiders have established control of the central hub. Vela's antennae drooped slightly, a sign of distress. If they extract the information about this place, the sacred pools would no longer be sacred. Kate finished understanding immediately. We need to move again. But where? Vela hesitated. There is one place. The ancient vessel. Kate looked confused. Long before my time, Vela explained, a ship from beyond crashed into our mountains. Our ancestors believed it divine intervention. The technology was beyond anything we'd seen. We studied it for generations before sealing it away beneath the mountains. It remains hidden, shielded from detection. Few remember its existence. Why tell me this now? Asked Kate. Because we need its technology, Vela said. And because I believe you were sent to us for a purpose. No human has ever shown such compassion for our sacred creatures. No Vexari has ever seen cubs bond with an outsider as they have with you. Perhaps this convergence of unlikelihoods means something greater. Kate wasn't sure she believed in cosmic destiny, but she recognized a tactical opportunity. The ship might provide both shelter and a means of defense. How far a day's journey through the deep tunnels, Vela answered. We cannot take all the cubs, the journey is too treacherous. Kate considered their options. We split up again, she suggested. I take Mira and follow you to this ship. The other caretakers head in different directions with the remaining cubs. Multiple targets, minimal risk to any single group, Vela agreed. They gathered the others, explaining the plan. The caretakers were reluctant but understood the necessity. Kate reclaimed Mira, who stirred briefly before settling against her familiar warmth. Their group, smaller now, moved deeper into the tunnel system. The passages grew narrower. The air cooler, Vela led confidently, despite her age occasionally stopping to press hidden mechanisms that revealed new pathways. Kate marveled at the complexity, wondering how ancient the network must be. When they finally rested, Kate asked the question that had been bothering her. Why do the raiders want the cubs so badly? Surely there are other animals they could hunt, Vela sighed heavily. The Kuzari are unique. Their life essence contains properties found nowhere else in known space. They can bond empathically, form connections across species, communicate without words. Their genetic structure adapts and evolves rapidly, making them valuable beyond measure. Kate looked down at Mira, understanding better now why the little cub had formed such a strong attachment to her. That's why she follows me. She can sense my emotions, my intentions. Yes, Vela confirmed. And why the others trusted you, they sensed your genuine desire to protect them. Something we thought impossible for a human. To us, the Kuzari are sacred. To the Mrekai, they are merely resources to be consumed. The tunnels eventually opened into a massive cavern. Unlike the sacred pools, this space appeared excavated deliberately. The far wall contained something Kate had not expected. A sleek vessel partially embedded in stone. Its design unlike anything she had seen. Definitely not Vexari, not human either. The metal, if it was metal, seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The ancient ship, whispered Vela. Only the Council and Guardians know of its existence. None have entered for generations. Kate approached cautiously, Mira still in her arms. The cub stirred, watching the ship with unusual intensity. Is it safe as anything unknown? Vela replied. The last expedition reported dormant systems but viable power sources. Our ancestors could activate basic functions, but much remained beyond their understanding. A distant rumble shook dust from the cavern ceiling. The raiders, Kate asked, alarmed. Vela shook her head. Seismic activity. These mountains shift regularly. The ship has remained secure through countless tremors. They approached a seamless panel on the vessel's side. Vela pressed her palm against it, murmuring words in an ancient Vexari dialect. Nothing happened. She frowned. Our genetic markers should activate the entry sequence. Kate stepped forward. Mira suddenly alert in her arms, the cub stretched toward the ship, making soft chirping sounds. Kate moved closer, allowing Mira to touch the panel. The surface rippled like water. The panel dissolved, revealing an entrance. Vela gasped. The Kuzari, she whispered. They are connected to the ship somehow. Our legends speak of this, but none believed. Inside, the vessel lights activated, responding to their presence. The architecture was strange curves and angles that seemed mathematically perfect, yet organically flowing. Kate had studied xeno-architecture but had never seen anything like this. They explored cautiously, finding chambers that seemed designed for living quarters, research, and what appeared to be a control center. The technology was advanced but somehow intuitive. Kate found herself understanding elements of the interface despite its alienness. Mira moved with unusual confidence through the ship, leading them to specific areas. Chirping excitedly, Kate followed the cub's lead, realizing that somehow Mira understood this place. In the central chamber, a console activated as they approached, displays illuminated, showing the settlement above. The raiders had expanded their search pattern, but had not yet discovered the deeper tunnels. Kate saw Kira leading a small team through the sanctuary perimeter, likely searching for Maya. Vela studied the displays. The ship is connected to surveillance systems throughout our territory. She realized our ancestors must have integrated technologies. Kate noticed something else. Mira had climbed onto a raised platform in the center of the room. The platform glowed in response symbols appearing around its edge. Vela moved closer. Translating, the words are ancient, but I recognize elements. The chosen, the connection, the awakening. She looked at Kate with wide eyes. The legends of the Kuzari speak of guardians from beyond who would return when needed. Most consider it mythology, but some believe the Kuzari themselves were left by visitors from another realm as protectors. Kate watched as Mira settled on the platform, purring contentedly. "This is crazy," she whispered. But after everything she's seen since arriving on this planet, was it really so unbelievable that the cubs, particularly this smallest one, had a deeper purpose? Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. Displays shifted, showing armed raiders entering the tunnel system leading to their location. "They found us," Kate said, her heart racing. Vela moved to the console, pressing symbols that seemed familiar. "Something is happening," she said. "The ship is activating defensive protocols." Throughout the settlement, hidden mechanisms awakened. Ancient technologies dormant for generations responded to commands from the ship. Energy fields shimmered into existence around the sanctuary, and key structures raiders found themselves contained, their weapons neutralized. On the display, Kate watched as Kira located Maya, freeing her from captivity. The Mrikai forces, trapped and outmaneuvered, began a hasty retreat. Kate looked at Mira, still sitting calmly on the platform. Had the little cub somehow orchestrated all of this? The bonding with Kate, leading them to the ship, activating its systems. What were the Kuzari really? And why had they chosen to reveal themselves now? The ancient ship remained active for days after the Mrikai retreat. Its systems integrated with the settlement, providing enhanced security and revealing technologies the Vexari had forgotten existed. The council declared the event a fulfillment of prophecy, though Kate remained skeptical of mystical explanations. She preferred to believe that Mira and the Kuzari cubs possessed unique biological abilities that resonated with the ship's technology, a scientific miracle rather than a divine. Kate, Maya, and Kira stood on a viewpoint overlooking the settlement. Below, Vexari life had returned to normal. The sanctuary rebuilt housed all 6 cubs, though Mira still spent nights with Kate. The small cub had grown noticeably in recent weeks, her spotted fur developing the iridescent sheen of adolescence. "The council wishes to speak with you," Kate, Maya said gently. "They have received a transmission." Kate's heart jumped. A transmission. From Earth, Maya nodded. A human vessel responded to the signal the ship sent. "They orbit our world now." Kate felt conflicting emotions, joy at contact with her people, fear of leaving this place, and the cubs, particularly Mira, who'd become so attached to her. "Were they looking for me all this time?" "For 3 of your Earth months," Kira confirmed. "They never stopped searching." The council chamber was more crowded than Kate had ever seen it. All 7 elders present, along with representatives from various Vexari factions. Some still regarded Kate with suspicion, but most had accepted her presence, especially after her role in defeating the raiders. Elder Vela greeted Kate warmly. Mira, as usual, at the human side. "Kate of Earth, we have communicated with your people. They are most eager for your return." Kate nodded, feeling suddenly overwhelmed. How much had the council revealed about her experiences here, about the cubs? "The ship we shared, only that you survived your crash and have lived among us peacefully," Vela assured her. "The details of the Kuzari, the ancient ship, these remain our secrets until we determine the appropriate course." "And what is that course?" Kate asked carefully. Vela gestured to a seat beside her. "The human ship carries diplomats, scientists. They request formal contact. The first between our peoples." Kate understood the implications. Her accidental arrival had accelerated contact between humans and Vexari by perhaps decades. What might have happened under different circumstances? She shuddered to think of military encounters or corporate exploitation. "I believe you were meant to be our first contact," Vela continued. "One who understands both worlds, one who has shown care for what we hold most sacred. The council proposes you serve as intermediary." Kate considered this. She was a xenobiologist, not a diplomat. But who else had her unique perspective? her experience living among the Vexari, caring for their sacred creatures, earning their trust. "What about the cubs?" she asked. "What about Mirabella?" smiled knowingly. "The bond you share is unprecedented. The Council recognizes this. We would not separate you." Relief flooded through Kate. The thought of leaving Mira behind had been unbearable. "The human delegation awaits our response," Vela said. "Will you help us, Kate of Earth? Will you help your people understand ours?" Kate nodded. There was really no other choice. She had become a bridge between worlds. Her scientific training, her compassion for the cubs, her understanding of both cultures uniquely positioned her for this role. The meeting with the human delegation took place in a neutral location, a meadow outside the settlement. Kate stood with Vela and Kira beside her, Mira at her feet. The cubs, now more confident, explored nearby, keeping within Kate's sight. The human shuttle landed gently on the designated area. 3 figures emerged. Kate recognized the uniforms of the Interstellar Diplomatic Corps. 2 men and a woman approached slowly, following protocol for first contact situations. When they saw Kate, their professional demeanor broke momentarily. The woman rushed forward, then stopped, remembering her training. "Kate," she called, her voice breaking. "We thought you were dead." "The crash site was empty, Diane," Kate replied, recognizing her former colleague from the academy. "I almost was." She gestured to the Vexari beside her. "These people saved me. And I found something amazing here." The formal introductions proceeded with Kate translating cultural concepts. The humans were clearly fascinated by the Vexari, and especially by the cubs that seemed so attached to Kate. Particularly Mira, who remained vigilantly protective, growling softly when the humans came too close. "We have much to discuss," said the lead diplomat. "But first, Catherine, your status." "Your return." Kate looked at Mira, then at Kira and Vela, who had become her friends at the settlement that had become her home. "I won't be returning," she said firmly. "At least not permanently. My work is here now." The diplomats exchanged glances. Clearly surprised. "We had orders to retrieve." "Hugh, I understand," Kate replied, "but am requesting special assignment as scientific liaison and cultural attaché to the Vexari. My knowledge of both cultures makes me uniquely qualified." And she hesitated, stroking Mira's fur. "I have responsibilities here, bonds that can't be broken." Diane studied Kate closely. "Something has changed in you," she observed. "Everything has changed." Kate confirmed, "I see the universe differently now. I understand connection in ways I never did before." She knelt beside Mira. "The cubs taught me that boundaries between species are more permeable than we believed. That compassion transcends biology." In the days that followed, Kate helped establish the framework for human-Vexari relations. Her insights proved invaluable, preventing cultural misunderstandings and identifying areas of mutual benefit. The humans were fascinated by Vexari sustainable technologies, while the Vexari expressed interest in human medical advances. A small human outpost was established near but respectfully distant from the Vexari settlement. Kate divided her time between worlds, explaining humans to Vexari and Vexari to humans. Her scientific papers on Kuzari development became required reading at the academy, though she carefully omitted certain details about the ancient ship and the cub's true nature. Some secrets belonged to the Vexari alone. One evening, as twin moons rose over the sanctuary, Kate sat with Mira, now nearly adolescent, watching the stars. The cub had grown, but still preferred Kate's company to anyone else's. Their bond had only strengthened with time. Kira joined them, settling beside Kate on the observation platform. "Many of my people believed humans would bring destruction," she said. "Yet you brought understanding." Kate smiled. "The Kuzari brought understanding," she corrected. "I was just lucky enough to find them. Or they found you," Kira suggested. Her violet eyes reflected the moons. "You still believe this was all coincidence?" Kate watched Mira, who seemed to be tracking something, invisible among the stars' movements, too precise to be random. "Sometimes I wonder," she admitted. "Sometimes I think about how unlikely it all was." My crash. The cubs being orphaned, the raiders' attack, the ship. All converging to create this moment. This connection between our worlds, and what conclusion does your scientific mind reach? Asked. Kate laughed softly. My scientific mind says, coincidence, pattern, recognition, random chance. But she touched the small scar on her arm where Mira had accidentally scratched her months ago. The wound had healed but left a mark in the exact pattern of the constellation visible above the sanctuary on the night they had met. But my heart says something else, Kate whispered. Something about destinies intertwined, species meant to find each other. Universe pushing us together. Mira chirped softly as if in agreement. Kate knew the cubs were special. Their empathic abilities, their connection to the ancient ship, their apparent intelligence all suggested something beyond ordinary evolution. But whether divine intervention, cosmic plan, or simply beautiful biological serendipity, the result was the same. Two worlds connected through compassion, understanding growing from care. Differences acknowledged, but not divisive. In the sanctuary behind them, the other cubs played under Maya's watchful eye. In the settlement, humans and Vexari cautiously built trust. In orbit, ships from both worlds maintained respectful distance while exchanging knowledge. And here, in this quiet moment, Kate, a human woman from Earth, sat beside Kira, a Vexari hunter watching Mira, a sacred Kuzari cub who had changed everything. Sometimes the most profound connections form in the unlikeliest circumstances, Kate thought. Sometimes the universe finds extraordinary ways to remind us that compassion crosses all boundaries, even those between the stars.